welcome to the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast, your one-stop shop for television, movie, video games, comic books, book reviews, and more. Now, without further ado, here's Steven and Mike.
Hello there. So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first.
Hey, welcome everybody to the Two Geeks and a Microphone show. We are so glad you are joining us today. Welcome to the virtual coffee table. I am your co-host, Mr. Stephen Boster, along with my illustrious co-host, Mr. Michael Shanks. Mike, say hey to everybody.
Good morning to all you geeks out there in Geekdom land. And
Oh.
yes, I am awake. Sometimes I get caught up in our opening and forget about our little sound bites.
That is okay. Well, hey everybody, as you can tell up on our description, we are talking about the new movie Morbius. So just so you know, there are going to be spoiler discussions and all that kind of stuff. I'm just going to lay that out there right now to say that. And but Mike and I have not done any pre-show notes. We have not discussed anything at all. We do not know how each other feels about or our ratings or scores or anything. We have not said anything to each other about the Morbius
Nope.
movie. And it has been very difficult. We were just talking about it as we were getting ready to go live. We were just saying, man,
Heck, I wasn't even sure you saw the movie yet.
Right?
I mean, I texted you last night. I didn't, like, a lot of times I'll text you and go, oh, I just finished watching it. It was great, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
All I did was I texted you and I said, just got home from Morbius. And that was it. I didn't say anything else. And you didn't respond. And Brenda goes, maybe he's at the movies now. I'm like, he might be. And then, of course, I went to bed. So
I was watching a movie with Kelly. We were watching Death on the Nile because it was on HBO Max. And I had already been home. I had already seen it. And I was like, do I need to say anything or not? Because, there's a lot of people out there who are saying they didn't like this movie, different reviewers and stuff saying they didn't like it. And I was like, oh, I was like, do I say anything? Because then it'll get us talking.
Get into that a little bit. We're going to get into that a little bit.
Yeah. Good. We should actually. And then, I was like, oh, if I send you a note or if I send anything, that's going to get us to talk. And you are great about saying, wait, Stephen, hold that for the podcast. That's good podcast fodder. And I thought, okay. and so I didn't say anything. And even when we got on this morning to start doing pre-show stuff, you were like, we were like, did you see it? I was like, yes. And then we said, let's wait. I'm like, okay.
Just for future reference, though, at least let me know that you saw the movie.
Oh, you were getting nervous. I'm sorry.
I was getting nervous. I'm like, are we talking about it tomorrow or what? I mean, if you haven't seen it, then we can't talk about it. And I want to talk about it. So
I got you. Sorry.
So at least just say, hey, I did see the movie.
Yeah, I saw it. Saving it for the podcast. That's
what all I got was radio silence. So this morning I'm going, well, okay, we either talk about Morbius or we're going to talk about WandaVision because we got that kind of as a backup topic right now.
That's true too. That is true too. On our discussion on Road to Doctor Strange.
Right.
And all right, so here we go, everybody. Normally we give our overall review, we give it a score, and then we go into spoilers. And so we go into more detail on different aspects of the film and stuff like that. So without further ado, here we go. Mike and I are discussing for the first time. You're hearing us in our awe or shock or disappointment or disagreement or just
completely and totally cold too.
We are totally cold on this. So
this is so wild. Yeah, I think this is the first time we've done this. Actually,
this is the first time we've done this. So yeah, so everybody, you are just you're We are going in surprised. Okay, who wants to go first? Who should go first? Should we rock, paper, scissors it?
I don't care.
Okay.
Wait a minute. I got an idea.
Yes. He has an idea, everybody. It's a dangerous pastime.
Heads or tails, Steven?
I'll go heads.
Echo, flip a coin.
That's pretty cool. Echo is flipping a coin.
And Echo said heads. So
Okay, so I'm going first.
You called heads, so you go first.
All right. Okay, everybody. Hey, that was kind of cool. That was kind of fun. We need to get that audio so you can hear it better.
Yeah, I should have mic'd it up. Sorry about that.
That's all right. That's kind of
It was on the fly, though. I didn't,
It was on the fly. It was a great idea on the fly. Okay, here we go, everybody. If I was to give it a score, all right. So I'll just start off with my score. Out of 5.
Oh, wait. We got to pick what we're going to use as our scoring.
I know. I was trying to think of something.
Vampire bats.
Vampire bats. Okay. I give it. I got to be careful here. So, because I'm the one who started off doing points, something point something. I actually will give it. Actually, I will give it 3.75 out of.
Okay. Interesting.
Out of 5. I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed it. Okay. I went in hearing certain reviews, people talking about reviews and their scores and stuff, and they didn't like it. Everyone said it would. They were like, "Oh, it's a mess of a movie," and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And I'm sitting there watching the film, and Troy and I went to go see it. Right once he got done with school, I said, "You want to go?" And he says, "Yeah, but let me hang at home for a little bit, and then we'll go." So we caught the 5:00 show.
Sure.
And there was only.
What did Troy think of it?
In the middle of probably a third of the way through the movie, he leaned over to me and he said, "I don't see why people are not liking this movie."
Nice. Okay.
And I said, and I leaned in and I said, "I agree with you. This is actually a good movie." And when I say good in the aspect, that's why I give it, 75, 85% or 80% or whatever. Sure. Is because it's, I mean, it's not a perfect movie, but no movie is perfect. But I enjoyed it. And would I go see it in the theater? Well, I did go see it in the theater, but that kind of rating. Should you go see it in the theater? Yeah, you should go see this movie in the theater. Because not only that, they, one of the things about Morbius or vampires and vampire bats is that echolocation thing.
Yeah.
And so how the film did it, in several things they did, was they create a whole, you're experiencing the sound as well. It's not just a visual feats, because I like the special effects. I really enjoy the special effects in the film. And not only did you have special effects, but they put effort into the sound. And you can tell in the theater, the whole, when they do the echolocation stuff and different things, that you would hear right and left and back behind you and stuff, was actually really good. And so it is an enjoyable film. And I was totally shocked. I was going into it thinking, okay, I'm here because people are saying it's bad, but Mike's, it's on our docket because it's Spider-Man universe stuff. So I'm like, okay, let's go see this. And I mean,
I got to go watch this because Mike said I got to go watch this.
It's for the podcast. That's right, by golly, And
taking one for the team, Steven.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I'm just going to say publicly thank you, because I enjoyed the movie. I did. Part of me wants to give it a 4 out of 5. That's 80%. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5. I'm going to give it 80% because I enjoyed it. And I would go back to the theater to watch it again because it's just a enjoyable movie. It's a good popcorn muncher film. And I enjoyed it.
I had popcorn and nachos.
Oh, right on.
With jalapenos.
And we went.
Oh yeah, and we had fried pickles too.
I told Troy, I said, we're in between paychecks. And I told Troy, I said, Troy, I can't get anything. I don't have the extra money to spend and stuff.
That's when you sneak stuff in. Oh, did I say that? Sorry.
Right. And so we got in there and we're like, well, I've got enough points that I could get us a free
Oh, there
small
you go.
drink, And so I went up to get a free small drink, and he goes, and and he said, well, do you want the Batman cup? I'm like, the Batman cup? They had special edition cups for when the Batman movie came out, and they still had some. And
Oh,
so he threw it in for free, and he said, yeah. So, well, I want my own Batman cup. And so, uh,
that's
so
fun.
I got one too, and I was like, okay, Troy, you can get a popcorn. And he got it's Cheetos popcorn, and it had the spicy Cheetos in it as well. So it was cheesy popcorn and then spicy Cheetos thing. So anyway, that was just helped make it even a better experience, and we had a great time hanging out and watching Morbius. It was a good film, and it was a good afternoon, and it was a good time together.
Nice.
So there's my real quick review. Should you go see it in the theater? If you like movies, and especially Spider-Man universe stuff, I mean, this is kind of setting up. Now, this is Sony Spider-Man universe. That's the other thing we're going to have a discussion about, is because in association, I was surprised. It's not a Marvel movie. It's Sony Pictures in
Right.
association with Marvel. And I thought that was interesting. So I want to get your insights about that here in a little while too.
Okay. Well, all right. So we got the Morbius cup, by the way. They gave us the Morbius cups.
Oh, we didn't have Morbius cups. Ooh.
Yeah. They're pretty cool looking. I mean, they look like the poster with half his face is, normal, and then half his face is the vampirized. I don't know how you say that.
Sure. I got you. We'll go with that.
But yeah, it's a cool looking cup. I like it. I thought it was neat.
Mhm.
We didn't get the Batman cups when we went and seen the Batman. I'm a little disappointed at that, but
These are pretty neat Batman cups. It's not just a cup with a picture on it. It is like a 3D cup and stuff. I should have brought it up. I'll bring it
yeah,
up for the next show.
okay.
They
Go
might
ahead.
have had them, and we just didn't get them because they might have been out by the time that we got there.
Yeah, it's possible.
Or
Anyway,
it's based upon the theater, what the theater had, because ours is a Regal. Ours is a Regal theater.
usually Marcus has them. I mean, they had the Morbius one, so
Mm.
I don't know. So yeah, I heard a lot of the same reviews you did. In fact, I had people telling me this past week, it's getting bad reviews. It's getting bad reviews. And then of course it's like, did you see Rotten Tomatoes? I'm like, first of all, I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes. And I'm like, and second of all, which ratings are you looking at? Are you looking at the viewers, or are you looking
Critics.
or the critics? I go,
Yeah, good call.
I never listen to the critics. I never agree with them anyway, so I'm not going to listen to them. And we all know, even the viewers, it's been iffy on whether that's reliable or not. So, with that said, now I saw a YouTube video that did get me concerned about this movie because, in several of the trailers that we saw, there was a lot of Spider-Man Easter eggs throughout this, which made me really excited because I was like, okay, cool, we're going to connect to Spider-Man. And we'll talk about Morbius's connections with Spider-Man as we go through this episode.
Good.
But so I was excited. I'm like, oh, cool, we're going to connect to Spider-Man. I mean, I wasn't expecting Spider-Man to show up in the movie, but
Right.
I was like, but at some point he's going to connect with Spider-Man. So I was really excited. And then all of a sudden I start seeing these reports from several different YouTubers saying Sony has removed all references to Spider-Man. I was like, what? Because like there's a scene where he's walking through an alley and you see like a poster of Spider-Man, and somebody spray paints murderer across it. That poster's gone. It's not in the scene at all in the movie. There's a scene where he's looking at the newspaper. It's the Daily Bugle. And there's a headline, Spider-Man kills Mysterio. Well, the headline that was actually in the movie was Michael Morbius is wanted for murder. So which, I mean, it fit the movie. That's
it
fine.
did fit the movie, sure.
Right. But those were some things that I saw that I was like, oh man, that kind of sucks, because I was really looking forward to those, tying it to it.
Right.
And then going into it, we all knew that Michael Keaton was supposed to be in it and be reprise his role as Vulture, which I was
Yes.
super excited about that too. Because there was
Uh-huh.
there was a scene in the trailers where you see Michael Keaton walk. It looks like he's walking past Michael Morbius, and he goes, "What's up, Doc?" Which I thought was hilarious. I loved it.
Right. Oh yeah.
But they're like, yeah,
Yeah.
but they're like, Sony cut everything, and then they said they cut down Vulture's parts too, and I was like, oh, that sucks. So that took me down a few notches, and I'm like, man,
Mhm.
now I'm just not as
Mhm.
excited about this film as I was before.
Right.
So in a way, I'm kind of glad it took me down a couple notches, because I went in with lower expectations than I had before. And like you, I ended up really enjoying this movie.
Oh,
I thought
good.
it was really good.
Mhm. Maybe it's because we both went in with low expectations.
Right? I don't know. Well, I have another theory, and we'll get into that more.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
But yeah, I really, really like Michael Morbius. I thought they did a good job establishing his character. I thought they did a good job of establishing the vampire side of him, the Morbius side
Uh-huh.
of him.
Uh-huh.
I agree. I like the special effects and the sonar stuff. I thought that was really cool. I
Yeah.
enjoyed
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
They
Mhm.
they they did a fairly good job at adapting the story around the comic book adaptation. I mean, it's not
Okay.
perfect. It doesn't match exactly, but they did a decent job. I
Right.
was pretty pleased with it. Because I read some Morbius issues going into this, just to get myself ready, because I knew of the character, but I hadn't read a lot of the character, so I
Uh-huh.
wasn't super up on him.
Right.
Um, but overall, I would give this a solid 4. I think it's a good film.
Right on.
And like
Okay.
you said, it's not perfect. There are some issues here and there. I love Matt Smith. I am a fan of Matt
I
Smith.
was gonna ask you about that. Once I saw him in it as
Oh my gosh.
once I
He
saw
did
him and I was like, "Oh, he's the benefactor." I was like, "Oh, you don't bring Matt Smith in for
oh,
just a little bit." I
you
had
know,
no idea his role in this film.
I have not seen Matt Smith in a villain role before. And which, I mean, okay, yeah, maybe I should play the spoiler.
Okay. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, maybe I should have done that before I said that, but because Matt Smith ends up in the villain's role of this. I had never seen Matt Smith in a villain role, and man, he was great. He was really
He was
good.
good. He was
Um,
really good. When I saw him, I even thought, "Okay, he's gonna be the villain." And I said, "And he's gonna do a good job because he's a good actor."
oh, he's a great actor. I love Matt Smith.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was introduced to Matt Smith in Doctor Who.
Mhm.
I think most people were. And then I watched him in uh yeah, the Queen the TV series
The
on
Crown.
The Crown, thank you. I watched
Oh,
him in The
right.
Crown.
He played
Yeah.
Philip.
Yep, he plays Prince Philip, and
Mhm.
he was so good in that. I was just like,
Mhm.
"Wow, this is good." You know,
Yes.
and there's aspects of that where he's a jerk, but I wouldn't call him the villain. There's not really a villain in that per se, but he can be a
Right.
jerk.
Yeah.
But I think he's just trying to portray Prince Philip, and I think Philip at times can be a real jerk. So
Mhm.
yeah, this is the first time I've seen him in a full out villain mode, and man, so good. Such a great performance. I really liked him. And his look, okay. Um, I don't want to be insulting to Matt Smith, but he has an oddly shaped face.
Well, yeah, and then they made it worse.
Well, I thought it fit the vampire really, really well. I was like, "Oh, his face works good with that. It looks good." So, again, not to insult Matt Smith's looks. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just saying that he does have an oddly shaped face.
Right.
So, overall, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was
Good.
good.
Good. Yes, yes. I was pleasantly surprised, and even then, I was like, this is a decent movie."
Mhm.
And and I'm like, "Why were people poo-pooing all over it?" Now, Troy did say he thought it was pretty quick, and he's right. It is a very fast-paced film, and,
I don't have a problem with that.
I don't
I
either. I don't either
personally,
because
I thought the Batman was too long. Yeah, I told you that.
yeah, yeah,
I
it was
3
3 hours.
3
Yeah,
hours is a long time,
yeah,
and we sped through this, and I'm like, "Yeah, I like this."
I
It
did.
was
I did too. In this sense, I thought it flowed well. It was like I knew where we were. I knew what was happening. There was only once that I was like, "Huh, how did we get here?" And that was the part where the cops bust in on, uh, I guess I don't remember whose apartment it was because I that's what threw me off. Was it Martine's apartment? I think it was it I don't remember whose apartment it was, but the police bust in and I'm like, "Well, how did they get here?" Kind of a thing. So,
yeah, good
and,
point.
uh,
Good
and
point.
all. But that was the only time I was like, "Oh, man, we really jumped," or, "How did we get here?" Or, "I didn't know we were coming here," kind of thing. But even then, that was minor in the grand scheme of things. And, there's only one other time that Troy kinda leaned in. I gotta say this now before we really start talking about the film, is there's the part where Matt Smith's character, the benefactor, Milo, is, or Lucian, is, uh he's now fit, he's now the bad vampire, kind of a
Yeah,
thing, and he's sitting there dancing, and it was a great song and stuff. Troy leads in and goes, "See, that's the Toby Maguire Venom, or the Toby Maguire universe."
'cause he's dancing like,
And it's
okay.
Spider-Man 3. The
You know
hotel
what? This was done much, much more
or
betterer
better.
than the Tobey Maguire scene was. That was just cringy as all get out, you
The
know?
Tobey Maguire one was. This one was
Yeah,
good
that yeah,
because
I
well,
like
one, it's Matt Smith. He
yeah.
knows how to, act. He's been acting for years, and, but dude, he was fit.
You know, I've seen him a few years ago. He posted a picture of himself, and he was pretty buff then too, and I'm like, "Dang,
Uh,
what is he beefing up for?" Because in Doctor Who, he was pretty, uh, uh, you know, s
Lanky.
yeah,
He was fit, it
right.
was
Which, I
yeah,
mean, it's fine for the part,
it fits the character, yes.
right, it fits the character. It's fine. But, yeah, I still don't know what he was beefing up for at that time. I was just like, "Wow," he looked like that in this. Now granted, this was a
Mhm.
few years ago, so I know it wasn't. Well, then again, maybe it could have been because, hell, this has been in projection hell for a while.
Right,
So,
it has
'cause
been.
it was supposed to come out last summer, so, it's been filmed for a
Yeah,
long time, you know,
yeah, yep.
I don't know, maybe it was this he was getting ready for.
Well, in all openness, I wonder if that's why they had to cut some of the parts because they were no longer
Valid?
some of the Spider-Man stuff. It was no longer valid because we already got No Way Home.
Yeah, maybe it's possible. I don't know. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Now, I have some theories.
Okay, I want to
I
hear
have
this.
some theories of why this is getting bad ratings.
Okay, yeah, let's get this out of the way.
I,
Yes.
I gotta, I gotta, I gotta tread carefully though, because you know,
Oh,
I gotta be careful of my words here. Um,
all right. All right. Do you need a moment to calculate your words and stuff to give you a few moments? And
I've been thinking all night how I'm gonna say this.
okay. All right.
maybe I'll just blurt it out. I don't know.
Just
I don't know.
blurt it out. Just let it out. You know, we don't have any sponsors to yell at us.
This is true. This is true. We don't. If you'd like to sponsor us, anyway, maybe not after I do this.
Right.
Okay, you know I take a lot of crap for giving Venom such high praise because I do love Venom. I love both of the films. I think they're great. You and I are probably both going to get crap for giving this high praise too.
Right.
So here it goes.
Okay, go for it. I'm ready. I'm ready, my friend.
I think this is getting poor ratings because we got a bunch of Marvel fans who expect they expect the silly, jokey. You know, we got to have jokes all through Marvel movies. They got to be fun. They got to be bright. They got to be. This is everything that a Marvel movie is not.
I like that. Yes, I agree with you.
Truth be told, this is more in line with the DC film. It's very serious in tone. It's dark. It's extremely dark. It's Megan hates it when I say this, but it's borderline horror. I mean, it's not horror, but it's on the edge. It's just on the edge. Just
I leaned over to Troy and I said, I'm just went to see the R-rated version. He goes, oh, there's an R-rated version, you know, with excitement. And I was like, no, but I said, but it seems like it moves so fast that they had to cut scenes, and they cut away from some things in there that made me think, you know, this could have been an R movie easily, and it would have been good. But anyway, go ahead. Yeah. I agree with you on the horror side. Yes.
I think it's a lot of typical Marvel fans who want that more bright, more cheery, more jokey type of Marvel film. And this is not that. It isn't that at all. Do you think
it's expectations? Like, okay, when I go to a Marvel hero film, I have now been conditioned because of the Marvel movies to expect certain things. And this didn't meet that mold.
Right. And I think a lot of people don't understand this character because this character is not like
good. He's not. He's not.
He's different from most of your Marvel characters. He's more in line with Blade, honestly. In fact, in the comic books, eventually he connects up with Blade.
They team up, right?
Yeah, I think they're a good combination.
Oh, you know? That would be good.
Well,
that would be good.
We got a Blade series coming too, so it's not out of the realm of possibility of putting the two characters together. It could happen. I would like to see that. But here's the thing: if you don't like Morbius, you're not going to like Blade.
Yeah, I agree.
Blade isn't any more happy, cheery, jokey.
Right.
It's none of those things. I mean, I was a fan of the Blade series in the 90s with
Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, Wesley Snipes. I was a big fan of that series, especially like the first two films were really, really good.
Right.
And when I heard they're remaking it, I was just like, oh, I don't know if I want to see it without Wesley Snipes. And again, I've seen Wesley Snipes lately, and he can't play the role. He can't fit it no more. He does not look like he did back then.
Right.
And then I seen the actor that's playing him, and I'm like, holy crap! It's like they just brought back the young Wesley Snipes. This guy looks amazing.
I'll have to look that up. Who's playing that and stuff?
I'm pretty excited about the new Blade series. I think it's going to be really good, based on what I've just from screenshots I've seen. That's all I got to go on right now. Yeah. So, with that said, that's my thinking of why people don't like this movie. I disagree with that though. I think this was a really good movie. And maybe that's because I'm a little more a DC fan, and that's even saying DC screwed up a lot of their movies too. I'm not, I'm definitely not defending, some of the movies they've done lately, but not everything they've done is, a total mess. But I think that's why I like this, because it was a little more serious in tone. It was darker, and I enjoy that. I think it's good.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
there's a place for the Marvels, the normal
Yeah, we're
Marvel.
not poo-pooing the Marvel
Right.
movies or anything like that.
I'm not
No, they're
I'm not
fun and
I enjoy
they
those. I
are.
love Captain America. I love Spider-Man.
Uh-huh. Yeah, but I think you're right. It's all about genre. It's knowing your characters and the world that they're in, kind of a thing. Because you really can't do, with Morbius, it's not a happy, it is an anti-hero conflict. Here's a guy who's trying to cure his blood disease, his rare blood disease, and he comes up with a way to do it, only to realize, splicing bat DNA with, human, and then all of a sudden becomes a vampire. And then it's the bloodlust that he has, and his conscience tells him it's wrong. And
Right.
so that is the conflict of the character. It's fabulous. And
It's almost like the Incredible Hulk. It's a similar idea of the Incredible Hulk, because Bruce Banner's trying to find a cure for being the Hulk. He doesn't want to be the Hulk, and Morbius is the same way. He does not want to be Morbius. But I do think there are times when Morbius gets in that mode, and yeah, I think there's points where he enjoys who he is.
Yep. Spoiler alert for everybody, real quick. The whole bloodlust thing was a great theme within the film, and him fighting that, and then when the nurse got killed, I totally thought that was him. I'm like, oh,
I did too.
No, you killed the
too.
nurse. You killed her. Kind of a thing.
But
and
see,
that was a scary scene in the film.
Yeah.
The whole hallway and the hallway lights.
Oh, that was intense, man.
It was good too.
That was really good. I liked it. Oh yeah, Brenda was freaking out. She's like, I don't like
was
this.
like,
I don't like this.
Is this I was like, is this a Sam Raimi film? I mean, this was good horror style. I mean, it was intense.
Man, it was intense.
I totally thought that was him, and I felt so bad for him as a character because he had been fighting this bloodlust the whole time. And I felt terrible, only to be relieved later on to find out that it was Milo.
But see, now that actually fits the comic book, though, because in the comic book, it's a struggle for him every day, where he's trying to fight off the bloodlust, and he vows to only kill those who deserve to be killed, basically. And I thought it fit the character really well, because there are times in the comic books he gives in. The lust is so strong, he gives in, and it's just something he can't control. And I was like, okay, it sucks that he killed her. I don't necessarily like that, but at the same time, I'm like, it actually fits. It's a decent scene. But like you, I was relieved to find out it was Milo, because I was like, oh, well, great. It wasn't him. That's awesome.
Right?
He didn't give into it. So yeah, I would have been okay if they went to if they would have went to that. I would have been fine with that. But at the same time, I was relieved that they didn't. So
yes. Yep. Sorry, I put on there, love this movie, because I was like, is the chat working?
It is. Wondering that also.
Yeah, it's working. I was testing it out there, so I've got it going.
I didn't know if it was just me or not.
So here is the other thing that I enjoyed. There was like a little Easter egg sort of in it, but when Morbius goes down and he takes over that guy's lab, the counterfeiting lab and stuff like that, and he goes, I am. And I thought, ooh, yeah, he goes Venom. I'm like, I knew what universe we were in.
So we did get a joke, though. we
did get a joke. Yes. But it told me we're in the Venom Sony universe. We're in that universe. And I was like, okay, very cool. So I did enjoy that. I thought, okay, that helps me know where we're at. And you're right. That universe is a darker universe. And I'm okay with that.
I could dig Morbius meeting up with Venom.
Right.
I could really dig that. That would be cool.
Yeah, it would be good.
So
go ahead.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No, you were going to say something. I was just saying, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I was going to give just a little bit of background on Morbius from the comic books.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
great. Yes, yes, yes.
so
Because I think that'll give us good context to
yeah.
make our argument about why this is a good movie to go see.
So Morbius's first appearance was in Amazing Spider-Man 101. It was in 1971. This is an interesting issue too. Um, so Spider-Man, Parker is trying to cure himself of being Spider-Man. Why in the heck would you want to cure yourself of being Spider-Man?
Right.
I don't get that. I just don't get it. If I had those powers, I'd be pretty, pretty happy with those powers. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But anyway,
He was having a dark moment.
yeah, whatever. He's just having a bad day, I'd say. Well, then his day got worse because he tried to come up with some kind of concoction, and ends up giving himself 4 extra arms,
Right.
which is pretty funny.
Whoops.
So he gives himself 4 extra arms. He's freaking out because he doesn't know what to do, and then of course he can't reveal himself to anyone because he's got extra arms, which would be really strange. So he turns to the lizard.
Connors.
Yes, he turns
Dr.
to
Connors.
He turns to Dr. Connors for help. And lo and behold, this actually goes between issues 101 and 102, which are on the Marvel app, by the way, which is where I read them.
Right on.
And this is the very first appearance of Morbius, and Morbius is kind of just thrown into the issue to start with. He just kind of shows up to start with. You do get his background, but it's kind of like boom, he's there. And Morbius, for some weird reason, comes across Connor and Peter Parker, and he attacks them, and he actually inadvertently heals the lizard. It cures him.
Oh,
by
interesting.
biting. Yeah, by biting him. So they come up with the idea that Morbius's blood could fix Spider-Man, fix Peter Parker. So they're trying to get the blood from Morbius, which ensues a battle and blah blah blah. But in that issue, they do have the origin of Morbius, and it does start on a ship, just like we see in the movie.
So the movie is the same as
it's
the
not
origin story.
exactly. It's not exactly, but it's a decent retelling of the original origin story. I mean, they changed some things for to make it more up to date and
sure,
more politically correct, I guess you could say, so on and so forth.
Right.
Because there's some things that are done that is kind of sexist, but I thought it was a fair retelling of his origin from the comic book. I thought they did a decent job of it. I liked it, and I really liked that he pretty much slaughtered all the bad guys on the ship. I thought it was cool.
Right.
And I love the cop's reaction. Look, we don't think it's all that bad that these guys are gone. But you can't run around doing this stuff.
Right.
I thought that was a great reaction for the piece. I was like, that's pretty cool. So yeah, his origin does begin in Spider-Man, and that's why I was a little disappointed with the erasure of all the Spider-Man Easter eggs in the film, because I was expecting a little bit more of a connection to Spider-Man. But that's it. Other than that, I really, really enjoyed this film. I'm, oh, and I want to say, so there's been a lot of memes of Jared Leto with him as the Joker. I've been very vocal. I don't like his Joker. I think it's terrible. I don't like his look. I don't like him, period. As the Joker. When it was announced that he was going to be Morbius, and I saw pictures of him, I was like, ooh, I didn't like him as a Joker, but I think he's going to make a good Morbius. I think he did great. But all these memes say, worst DC film ever, now the worst Marvel film ever. What's the connection?
Yeah.
And
Right.
I totally disagree with that. I completely disagree
Agreed.
with
Yep.
that. There are definitely worse Marvel films in this.
There are definitely worse Marvel films, yes, because he did good.
Yeah.
He did so good as Dr. Michael Morbius, as the doctor, as the guy who was really struggling, who was really trying to find a cure for the disease, living the disease, and then his care for his patients. I really enjoyed that character. I had a very good connection. I thought the way he acted it was well. I'll be honest with you. I was also concerned about Jared Leto, and not because of that meme, but I've seen his Joker. I didn't like his Joker. I'm right there with you. I saw another movie with him where with who else was in that all of a sudden? See, I almost forgot the film. It was on HBO Max, and we watched it. And I like good murder mysteries. He played a serial killer kind of guy. It was okay. And that was just the issue. It was just okay. And
Was it
I saw.
Panic Room?
I recently watched with him in it. In what was it? It was the Lady Gaga was in it. It's the film of the Gucci's, and it's
Oh,
Gucci.
okay.
And he was in that one, and I thought he overacted that character really bad. I mean, it was really bad.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, oh man, here I've seen these things with Jared Leto, and I'm like, oh, how is he gonna do? He did really well because I got connected with the character. I felt for the character. I had an involvement with the character. I wanted to see him do well. I felt bad with the struggles that he was going through. The whole aspect of the bloodlust, I really felt the dynamic. He acted it well about that push of, I don't want to do this, but I'm pulled to do this. I don't want to do this. I'm pulled to do this. I'm trying to control this. Oh, they did that really well, and he acted it well. So he made a good Morbius.
I agree. I totally agree with you. Megan was chiming in when you said something about the first thing you saw him in.
Oh yeah, what'd you say, Megan?
Oh, I asked if it was Panic Room. I'm just scrolling through this IMDb page.
Megan's being Tito.
Right on, love it. Panic Room. I have not seen Panic Room. I know of Panic Room, but I've never seen it. I didn't know he was in that.
Gotcha. Well,
Did you know he was in Fight Club?
No.
I don't think I've ever actually watched Fight Club.
He played.
Oh.
I don't know anything about Fight Club, but
Fight Club has one
I
of the
just know
best.
you don't talk about Fight Club.
yeah,
all.
that's about
That's
all.
right. You don't talk about Fight Club. It has one of the best.
And we also
movie
don't talk
twists.
about what's his face in Kanto.
Bruno.
Yeah. We don't talk about Fight Club, and we don't talk about Bruno.
Oh, gotcha.
I
Well,
don't
I'll
know
say
how that
this:
sounds.
Fight Club has one of the best movie twists at the end that I never saw coming. And
Oh, really?
It was really interesting, and it's a dark movie. It is dark, so it's pretty
Oh, I
fascinating.
know it's dark. I know it's supposed to be dark. I don't know. For some reason, I never was.
That's
that
what people like about it. It's kind of a snoozer as you go through it, and then when you get to the end, you almost have to rewind the whole movie again in your mind.
No. I'm not watching Memento again.
No, it's
Or,
not Memento, but
God, I hate that movie.
but it has a twist in it that makes you rethink the movie. So yeah,
See,
you don't have to
my
rewind.
theory on Memento is you watch that thing backwards.
Right?
Was the movie The Little Things.
The little
See, I don't
Like
think I've ever seen that one either.
Oh.
Anyway,
Megan's
Jared-
just randomly naming Jared Leto movies.
Right. Here's the deal. Jared Leto did a good job in the character, and I would like to see him in a sequel or another film where he's playing that character. Yes.
Now, I got to ask you, the one thing I thought was kind of I was confused of why Milo had so much money. I'm like, yeah, I was like, okay, where did this come from? I don't understand.
Mhm.
Because it's never really established that he's of a wealthy family or nothing.
Well,
It's just,
they sort of do that at the beginning when he gets dropped off, because there's a whole, when he gets dropped off and you're looking down, it's a really nice car. There's like a butler or a car driver, who's there. His parents are there, and it gives the sense that he's wealthy, but that's it. And so,
right,
and they talk about the benefactor and stuff, and then all of a
right.
sudden it's Milo.
And apparently he's been the money backer behind Michael Morbius. The
Right. So how did he get his money? Was he,
right.
I did like the aspect of where
See, I know how Bruce Wayne gets his money. I mean, yes, he
Mhm.
inherits it, but he also has people actively working behind the scenes with him,
Mhm.
and he's
Mhm.
he's working to a certain extent, you know.
Right.
Oh, Mark just popped in to say hi. Hi, Mark.
Hey, Mark. Hey guys, at a show, so can't stay on, but just wanted to drop in to say hi.
Oh,
Hi,
that's right.
Mark.
Yeah, we should probably say something. Mark is doing a show today in Rhode Island.
Oh, that's
He's
right.
doing a convention. So
Mhm.
if you're in the Rhode Island area, go say hi to Mark. And go pick up his comic book, Werewolf with the Chainsaw.
Yes.
He posted some of his artwork. He's a damn good
Yeah.
artist. I really like his artwork. So, um, yeah, Mark, I want a comic book. Anyway, thanks for dropping in, dude. Where was I at? I forgot where was that. Dang.
See, Mark, you got us all flustered now because we forgot where we were at and stuff. We were talking about the money. How did he get his money?
Oh, that's right.
And
That's right. But
and
yeah, I understand where Bruce Wayne gets his money and stuff, and I'm like, I
Mhm.
just didn't. It didn't connect with me. I was like, huh? What? How's
Right.
this dude so rich? That was just one of the things that I was like, yeah, okay, this is where the movie's just not, you know.
Right.
But that's a small thing. That's a really small thing, you
Yeah.
know.
I did like the aspect that you got to see some of the dark side of him as a kid when the kids were beating up on him. And then when it was over, he went and hit that kid with his crutch and to get the letter back and stuff. And
Okay,
I was
and
like, okay.
now there was part of me that I was going, yeah, beat the shit out of that kid.
Right? Right? Ah, man. All right, got to make sure I put an E on the podcast.
I'm sorry. Oh yeah.
No,
I was
agreed, because you
for
felt
him at
bad
that
for him. You
moment.
wanted him to.
Yeah,
Yes.
I did. And I know we've had this discussion with Three Geeky Dads. We discussed the fact that we're like, we don't like you to give the villain a sympathetic backstory, but
Mhm.
I did feel this was appropriate. I think it worked, you know.
Mhm.
Not in the aspect of some of the things that we've talked about in the past where they just go back and blatantly change a character,
Right.
and
Here's what I will say about Lucian, aka Milo, or aka Milo, aka Lucian.
well, his name was Lucian, and then
His name was Lucian, and he gave him
Michael
the
just
nickname
calls
Milo.
everybody Milo, which
Right.
I thought was funny,
It was
and
funny.
and I guess technically it's not funny because, I think the reason he does that is because he doesn't want to get attached to him because they're gonna die.
Right. He's been
Basically.
through it so much. Yeah.
Right. He's
Mhm.
like, "Look,
Yep.
you ain't gonna be here long, so." Yeah. Hi, Milo.
Right.
I just
Right.
love that the doctor as they were kids also called him
Yeah.
Milo.
Well, see, I
Mhm.
think that's showing that he ends up embracing that nickname. He just
Mhm.
embraces it and then ends up adopting it, saying, "Yeah, okay, I'm Milo."
Mhm.
Because through the
Mhm.
rest of the movie, he's now Milo.
Yeah.
Even
It
after he's infects himself with the
the
blood, the
serum.
virus, or the serum,
Mhm.
whatever, he's still Milo.
Mhm. I
Which
did enjoy the fact that it gave backstory or justification, if you wanna call it that, to his character as a villain. And when it's like, "Look, we've been suffering under them all this time, and now it's
right,
payback,"
right.
kind of a
I mean,
thing.
it makes sense too,
It did. It did, yes.
It was okay. it's not morally correct, but it's
It's understandable.
yeah, it's understandable.
It's
It's under
understandable why, it's kind of like, how Chinese water torture really affects people poorly, just a drop here. And for him, it
right,
was
yeah,
getting beat up. It was getting made fun of. It was having the disease. And every morning I'm getting that one more drop, a drop of
well,
someone making fun of me, having to go through this disease every day for most of his life. And I understood that. I can understand that drive.
there's the scene in the bar where he's kinda hitting on the girl, and the
Hmm.
guys come up to him, and they're like, "You're hitting on the wrong girl, blah, blah,
Right.
blah." And then he backs off, and he goes, "There'll be another time." And I
Yep.
looked at my wife, I looked at Brenda, and as soon as they're coming out of the bar, I go, "That time is here."
Yeah. I,
And I hate to say it, but there was part of me that just like when he was a little kid, I went, "Yeah, I mean, they don't deserve to die, you know,
right.
but yeah, they deserve to get a
It's
little
time for
bit
your
of."
comeuppance. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly,
I'll say this.
exactly.
When they walked up and says, "Hey, dude, that's my girl." I'm like, "Uh-oh, he's dead."
Yeah,
He
yeah, totally agree.
I was like, "Ooh, this should be interesting."
But I
Oh
mean,
my
there was
goodness.
part of me that went, "Yeah, I want him to beat him up." I
Right?
don't want him to kill him. I just want to beat him up. That's all,
Yep.
you know?
Yep.
So, yeah, he took it further than he should. But that's who he was though.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
again, it just shows how good an actor he is and I thought it was done really well.
It was done
Enjoyed
really
it.
well. Now, I want to talk to you about two things, and they're the ending scenes. I do want to talk
Okay.
about these. First, I want to talk about Martine, then the other one. Okay.
Okay.
Martine at the end, when she bit hit, where you think the villain has killed her, and she's there and she's doing that last kiss. I'm like, oh, it's so sweet. Their love for each other. They finally love each other, kind of a thing. Whatever.
Uh-huh.
She bites his lip. And then
Uh-huh.
she bites his lip and then gets the drop. I'm like, okay. But I was so shocked right after that where he bit her. And I'm like, kind of a thing. But she had said,
So,
make my
okay, wait a minute.
sacrifice
So
worth it.
she actually bit his lip.
Yes. And a drop of his
Okay.
blood landed in her mouth,
Okay,
kind
yeah.
of a thing.
Okay, I didn't realize she actually bit him. I
We were
saw her.
wondering how she
Yeah,
transformed.
because I was confused.
Yes.
I'm like, "No, wait a minute. He's not a traditional vampire. He doesn't turn people by, biting them like a traditional vampire would."
Right.
So I was like, I didn't quite get how she
She bit
turned.
his lip when they were
She bit his
kissing,
lip. Oh, okay.
and then
Now, see,
that
I did
blood
see her
dropped.
lick the blood,
Yeah.
but I wasn't sure. I
That
just
was
didn't
his.
catch. Okay. Okay. See, now that makes a lot more sense to me because I was just like, I don't get that. I didn't understand that.
Right.
Um,
And
no,
so
I'm
that, but
glad
then,
you explained that to me.
yeah, but then I was surprised that he bit her. I mean, like, to drink some of her blood so he
Well,
could have the energy to attack. I get why he did it, but I was like, that was
I
hard. That's hard. That had to have been horrible for his character.
I think at this point he's thinking she's a goner anyway, and he might
Right.
as well get some kind of value out of this.
From her life to extend to save
I mean,
other
it sounds
lives.
horrible.
Well, she did kind of tell him to do that
She
too.
did.
I think she did. Yeah. Good
And he
call.
didn't
Good
want
call,
to
Megan.
either. He did not want to.
Right.
He really fought it, but then
Mhm.
he finally gave in, realizing, "Look, I can't go on without it. I've got
Mhm.
to have it,"
Mhm.
and so he does it. So,
Mhm.
you know,
Well, I think
um
it's just like the same story with, the mouse. It looks like the mouse died when trying the serum,
Oh, yeah,
and then
okay.
she looked over and it was alive, and I was like, "Oh." Well, I assumed that was probably what was gonna happen with her. Well, I didn't know, to be honest, because when he drank her blood, I was like, "Oh, well, that's done. There goes that." And then she popped up with her eyes. I'm like, "Okay, now she is."
But see,
Now
that goes
I
back to Spider-Man 101 and 102 when his blood cures the lizard, and they come to the
Mhm.
conclusion that his blood will cure Peter Parker too. Now, granted, it actually turns her, it doesn't cure her. But,
Mhm.
I mean, essentially that's how Milo. Milo got the serum.
He got the
So
serum.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I wonder if there'll be a difference between her and them then.
Yeah, I was intrigued, and I was like,
Ooh,
"Oh,
that's
I
interesting.
meant to look up stuff about Martine, but we just saw the movie last
Yeah,
night,
I
so I
hadn't.
didn't have time
Right,
to."
I hadn't got to look up anything about her. I don't know if she's in the comic books or not. So,
Yes, well, that was in the video that you were watching
oh,
beforehand.
in the variant video.
Yeah, she was his fiance,
Okay.
and it was more of the what you were talking about being a little bit sexist in the comics. How he didn't want her to have anything to do with it.
Oh yeah, because there's just some language in the comic where he's, is like it is almost like, all right, woman, stay down and stay away from the lab and that kind of thing, which is why I said it's slightly sexist in today's the way we view things today. Yeah.
I don't know if she returns in the comics, but
I
she's
don't
in the
see. I don't
comics.
think she does. I don't know, but I haven't read enough of Morbius to know that or not. I thought she was great in the movie, though. I did enjoy
Yep,
her character in the movie.
agreed.
I loved she was an advocate for him, and she stood up for him and everything. I thought that was cool. Uh, I liked her interaction with the police. I thought that was pretty good when they come to question her and everything, and she pretty much plays dumb, and they're like, "We know, we know better."
Right.
There's only so much they can do, So, but that was a good
Right.
scene.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah. Yep. I'm excited. I'm intrigued to see where they go with this. And I really do hope it does well for them because I enjoyed the film. I really did. So now
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Now
I gotta ask you. There's several times in this movie I
the
thought of you. First was when Matt Smith showed up on the screen, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, did Mike know this?" Kind of a thing.
I think I had heard that he was going to be in the film, and then I forgot about it. So when he
Okay.
showed up, it was a beautiful surprise. It really was.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
was
I
like,
thought you
"Yeah,
might like
Matt
that.
Smith, awesome!"
Yeah, I saw.
And
Ooh, Matt
Megan had
Smith.
Megan had no idea he was in it. Megan's like, "I didn't know Matt Smith was in this."
Right? I did the same thing. I was like, I didn't know he was in this. I'm like, oh, he's totally the villain.
And he's so good. He's
You
so
did
good.
really good. So then the other time I really thought about you was right at the post credit scene, and here is all of a sudden we get we get the Vulture character.
Well, we get Michael Keaton.
Michael
Um,
Keaton.
I
All
can't
of a
think of it.
sudden you see the sky shatter. Then you're
Uh-huh.
like multiverse,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden he appears in a jail cell, and I'm like, okay,
I hope
so we're
I hope the food's better in this joint.
right. That was funny. That was good. Yeah.
I love Michael Keaton. He's
Yep.
so great.
Here are my thoughts. We just pulled him out of. He is not in the. How shall I say this? The universe, the Tom Holland Spider-Man universe. He got pulled out of that
Right.
universe and put into this one, obviously.
Right. And we're assuming this is where Venom's at because
I
he
agree.
makes
Yes.
the comment, "I'm Venom," you know.
Right.
So, yeah, so he knows about Venom. But apparently he doesn't know about Spider-Man yet. I'm assuming.
Morbius. You're saying Morbius doesn't know
Yeah,
about
Morbius
Spider-Man.
doesn't. Right. Morbius is
Okay.
aware of Venom, but he did.
There's no
I'm
illusion or
so lost
anything.
for words.
Right.
I don't know what to say. Oh, it's
Well,
bad
there's
when
the
a
illusion
podcaster can't talk.
that's not good. No, I'm just teasing. But there is that sense of we don't see any illusion that he knows of Spider-Man, but we also know that he doesn't know Spider-Man. They just didn't make any connection. We just get the I am Venom. And so we know now that we're in that universe, the Venom Sony universe, I guess, for lack of a better term. What did you think about the Vulture sequences?
Loved it. First of all, I love Michael Keaton, so
Yeah.
and again, I love the line when he goes, "I hope the food's better in this joint."
Yeah.
That was fantastic. Now, okay, I do have a question. So he just pops into this universe. Where the heck did he get his mech suit?
Right.
I mean, what? He goes off and builds it real quick?
Right.
And apparently pretty darn quick too.
Well, it doesn't really give a time frame.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's just I don't know. It just seemed
It's
like
true. It doesn't because it is because next thing you see is you see Morbius driving
yeah,
a
he's
sweet
traveling
car.
out to like a desert
Yeah, I
or
was like,
something.
whoop, there's our car commercial.
I didn't even notice what car it was.
I didn't either. I just like, oh, look, he's
It
driving.
wasn't a very good car commercial because a lot of times I can point out, oh, Hyundai,
Acura, Marvel movies,
Yeah.
Acura, you know, kind of a thing. Yes.
I think Hyundai spent a lot of money in Marvel movies. So, so apparently, whatever car that was, they didn't spend as much as Hyundai does. I do own a Hyundai, by the way. I also own a Toyota too. So, and Megan has a Dodge.
We have 2 Fords.
Not that we're getting any endorsements from any of these companies.
Right. That's
If
correct.
you would like to, though, Hyundai, if you'd like to endorse us, we would. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, he shows up out there in the desert, and we get the Vulture showing up on it, and I love how he's like, "I've been reading up on you.
Yeah.
I think we can team up,
Do some good." I thought that was interesting. I think we team up and do some good. I'm like,
well, again, this goes back to what we were saying with the 3 Geeky Dads. What makes a good villain? What makes a good villain is somebody who thinks that he's actually doing the right thing. And I think we're going into that with the Vulture. I think the Vulture thinks he's doing good, and yeah, that's what I think is happening. And I think we're getting the beginnings of the Sinister Six here.
I was going to ask you that. That was my next question.
But my question is,
Sinister Six.
How do we get back to Spider-Man? Because Spider-Man's not here, obviously. And I don't know if Morbius is actually a part of the Sinister Six. Because I know the Sinister Six has changed membership.
Oh my goodness, they've changed so many times. Yeah, it's like whoever. I mean,
we had the core
could
ones
be on it.
We had the core ones in the last Spider-Man movie, actually. Morbius, the Lizard. I said Morbius. I meant Mysterio. Well, no, Mysterio was dead by that time, so we didn't even have Mysterio. But we had Lizard, we had Doc Ock, we had Goblin, Sandman.
Sandman.
Right.
And then they added Electro.
Right, and Electro. Well, I think Electro's been in the Sinister Six before. So we had some of the core members of the Sinister Six right there. Of course, now if you add Vulture and Morbius, now all of a sudden we got the Sinister Seven. So doesn't sound quite as it doesn't have that ring that the Sinister Six has. So I don't know. Maybe somebody doesn't show up, and Morbius is the
becomes number 6.
Yeah, he's like the backup pitcher. He's the relief pitcher.
Yes.
Yes, he's the relief pitcher.
No, he's been a part of the Sinister Six.
I liked it better that he was the relief pitcher.
He was a part of Sinister Six number 12, and it has a lot more than 6.
Yeah, I know they've done that before too, where there's like 12 of them in at once.
Yeah,
man, that's a lot of enemies for Spider-Man.
He's got quite the rogue of villains.
Yes,
15.
he does. 15.
Yep, I'm looking through more.
I don't think we're getting a movie of Sinister 12 or 15. I think that'll be too much on the movie screen. You could do that in a comic book, a long strung out series, but in a 2 to 3 hour movie, yeah, I think that's just a bit much.
Right. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, any other words about Vulture being in it?
Overall, I really enjoyed the movie. I
Okay.
really liked it. I
Me
thought
too.
Jared Leto's acting was great.
I thought he did
Uh,
a good job.
Matt Smith was a beautiful surprise.
Yes.
And I thought he did fantastic too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I
Mm-hmm.
like I liked the girlfriend. I thought she was really good. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there really wasn't any characters that I did not like in this. You know, I thought everyone fit very well. Overall, I think it's a really enjoyable movie,
Mm-hmm.
and I think if you're into the Spider-Man universe, I think this is a good it's a good sidebar to Spider-Man,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not directly connected to Spider-Man, but Morbius does fall into the Spider-Man universe at one point.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's good. I enjoy it. I don't agree with the naysayers out there.
Agreed. Agreed. I thought it was really good. It was good, fast paced. It wasn't bloated, really. It was not
Right.
a bloated film whatsoever. I like that. Um, maybe that is because we're coming off from seeing Batman a couple of weeks ago, being a
Well, wait a minute.
3 hour movie.
I still like Batman. I still
I
liked
still
it.
like Batman too. I
I
still
I
liked it too. I thought it was good.
I
If
just
people
don't
can
think
listen
it's the
to
best
our review of that.
I don't think it's the best Batman movie ever made. That's all.
Right. Agreed. Agreed. It was
There's
good
just
though.
a bunch of people out there. This is the best Batman ever.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's a good Batman movie. It's not the best
It is
Batman
good.
movie ever.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. So it's
I
the same
liked it
with this
more than Ben
film,
Shapiro did.
right?
Anyway.
Right. Yeah,
Sorry.
that's true too. I watched that review. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll
Uh,
talk that one off the
Because
air.
we are planning to do another crossover with the three geeky dads to go over the Batman movie again
Yes,
when it hits HBO Max. So
definitely.
we'll do that. So let me say this: I enjoyed the film. I was pleasantly surprised, and I do believe people should go see it in the theater. I think it is worth the price of admission to go to the theater to see it, and that's where I'm at on that movie. I agree with you. I think everyone's wrong. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to get on Rotten Tomatoes and give it a score because I think it was good.
I was nervous. I really thought that you and I thought this was gonna be a movie fight. I
We were
really
gonna
did.
duke it, yeah.
I thought we were gonna duke this one out. I really did. I was like, "Oh,
Yep.
man, I don't think Steven's gonna like this one. I don't think he's gonna like it,"
And I enjoyed it. I really did.
Wow.
And it's so funny how you and
And
the
the
three
funny
geeky.
thing is we kinda matched on what we liked about it and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, we don't always do that.
Well, it's kind of funny because part of me was watching. I was going, "No, this is so edgy." And like you were saying earlier, it's kind of like a horror film. I said, I need to." Where you and the three geeky dads were after me about watching horror movies, and I thought, well, I guess I could add this one to the list.
I thought about that too when we were watching it. I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
man, this is borderline horror. Steven's not gonna like this. He ain't gonna like it.
Right.
Oh, wow, this falls into the category of 3 geeky dads," and in fact, it was Mark. Mark goes, "I want Steven to watch more horror films."
Right. And so here's the thing. Here's what I thought. And I was going to ask you about this on air. I said, what if I do a special series on our Ko-fi page of Steven
Ooh.
watches horror movies?
Uh,
Steven's horror movie fest.
if nothing else, maybe we can get Mark to subscribe to our Ko-fi page.
Right. Just to get the horror movie stuff.
Right.
Oh my goodness. But anyway, so yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I do give it a solid 4 out of 5 now. We've talked about it because I'm like, no, I did enjoy it. And that's 8, that's 8 out of 10 or 80% or B or whatever and stuff like that. So, so yeah. Oh, we've got a question real quick. We need to do this as we'll just close. So, Technofist is asking, my first question after watching the movie is why Vulture is not trying to get back home to meet his family. Instead, he is like, okay, I'm going to make a team to fight Spider-Man. That's interesting.
Actually, that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
I kind of think Vulture is a little bit tainted now. He's a little less family man as he's become the Vulture. I don't know. That's about the best I could do.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know. I mean, that is a valid question, a valid viewpoint based
I
upon
agree.
what we
It is.
saw in that. We just don't have enough information to go on because, again, this movie was fast paced. There
Yeah.
wasn't a whole lot of different development of different things, sidebar stuff, for lack of a better term. It stuck to the plot, it stuck to the story, and moved forward.
Agreed.
And so I don't know yet. We may get that answer once they actually make that film and stuff. But that is a valid question. That's really good.
The answer could have been in the cut scenes.
This is true too, because from what
That's
I
true.
understand, they cut a big portion of Vulture out of it because there was supposed to be more in there with him. I mean, Michael Keaton was talking about on I think it was Kimmel. Granted, I don't watch any of the late night guys anymore, but he did something on Kimmel where he was talking about filming a lot of parts for this, and that's all we got, which wasn't much. So
yeah, that's all we got. Yeah.
no, and maybe it's
Interesting.
just he figures he's in this universe. He doesn't know how to get home, so let's figure out a way to beat Spider-Man. Of course, then again, Spider-Man's not in this universe either, so I don't know. It's actually a very valid question.
It's good. Techno Fist, thank you.
Yes,
Thank you for
the
that.
question. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, we're going to close out. Hey, everybody. Normally, sometimes we do 2 shows on Saturdays. We take a break and do another one. Well, today, we are actually recording. We're not going live because we are recording our second special sci-fi show for our Ko-fi supporters. And so we won't have a second show today because we're recording our special sci-fi show. What's our topic for that? For those who may be interested.
Khan! We are doing Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. We actually watched both the original TOS,
the original series.
Yeah. The episode with Ricardo Montalban. Seeds of Space.
Space Seed. Space Seed, I think is what it was called. Yes.
Space Seed. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Singular, not plural.
Mm-hmm.
We watched that. That was the episode where Ricardo Montalban
they find
premiered.
the Botany Bay.
Yeah, they find the Botany
Bay. They come across the Botany Bay. Yeah. Botany Bay. Oh no.
Oh yeah, we got things to talk about that.
Yes, but it's gonna be great.
So yeah, we discussed both the episode and we're gonna be discussing the film too. So which I think is the best classic Star Trek film of the
original series film. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The one with Kirk and team and stuff. Yes. All right. Well, hey everybody, check out our page, 2geeksmike.com. There you will find all of our links to everything. Our merch page, our Ko-fi page, which that's where you can support us. We now have tiers. The newest thing that we're doing, to let everybody know, pretty excited about.
Yeah, I'm excited about this.
Is we are actually have a Discord server now. Thank you, Megan, for all your hard work for that and helping Mike and I get up to speed.
Help the old guys.
Yeah. So thank you. We appreciate it.
We are discussing possibly doing some kind of watch party in Discord sometime. So if you join us on Ko-fi, if you support us on Ko-fi, you will get access to the Discord server, which will we'll put something together and announce that in the near future. Also, something else that we've added to our Ko-fi is now we have an RSS feed for the audio versions of those Ko-fi exclusives. So if you subscribe to us, you will get a RSS feed so you can listen to the audio version of those exclusives in your podcast catcher of choice. So that way you don't have to just listen to it in go ahead, Stephen.
Well, I was going to say I still haven't figured it out in Spotify. But Google Podcast does it for sure.
There was an announcement yesterday about Spotify and Apple too. So,
I missed that. We'll talk about that after show.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after the show.
But we do have a special. So we have 3 different tiers, everybody, on our Ko-fi, just like a Patreon. But we just enjoy Ko-fi. They don't take out as much as Patreon does. So more of your money they give us actually goes,
to us and
to
less
us.
to them.
Blessed to them. And so here's the dealio. So the first one is just the appreciation, and that's just $2. That's all. And you get the Discord server.
As our friends over at Nerdery and Murdery would say, please and thank you.
Yes, please and thank you. Yes. And so that does buy us a coffee. Here's the nice. So that would you get our appreciation. Thank you so much. And then also you do get access to the Discord server. So I'm pretty pumped about that. And then at the appreciation stage, so there's appreciation. The next one, I'm sorry, is the supporter stage. And there you do get the Discord server, the audio podcasts as well. And plus more stuff. We're working on some other things. Then at the team thing, you get the videos of it all. So that's where I think that's where that's what am I trying to say? Those are the different stages, and we'd love to have your support. All that money goes directly to pay for, and it doesn't pay for. I mean, I wish you'd say we're able to buy lunch every now and then. We're not even able to buy lunch. We're paying for all of our stuff and stuff. So all for Restream and Podbean and all those kinds of things. So. And so with that, if you want to email us any comments or questions or anything, we do have a web email, which is show@twogeeksmike.com, twogeeksmike.com. And with that, Mike, I will let you sign us out.
All right. With that said, as I always say, over and out, and may the force be with you. Thank you for joining us today on the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast. Tune in next week when we will have more news and reviews. Until then,